Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the second part of our four-part Mendix ISV series. And in this video, we'll be going through a brief overview or brief technical overview of adaptable solutions. And then in the later part of the video, as I had promised, we will be going through the configuration of Mendix Studio Pro to enable solution modules, and also we will be building the core ISV application in Studio Pro. So that's the scope of this video, and I hope you guys are excited. Let's get started. On the technical overview side, right? Um, what's adaptable solutions? Adaptable solutions is nothing but what we had seen until now, that is the or what we had seen in the last video, that is the Mendix ISV, or a commercial solution, right? So what is an adaptable solution? An adaptable solution is what is a solution package that you extract out of your core application and give it to your customer, right? So where the common core is around 80% of it, or at least 80% of it, and then the rest 20% of it can be the customizations that the customer does on the solution you provided them, or they add any extensions to it. So that's an adaptable solution. So an application that has been adapted from a core, or a solution package that was extracted from a core, right? So of the ISV model has two different use cases, or adaptable solutions has two different use cases. One is the ISV commercial solutions that we discussed, again, that we went through the the which I gave you an overview in the first part, right? And the second option is the enterprise context. So say you work in a company, or you're a company that is, say, 5,000 people, and you have 10 different departments, but you have one IT department, right? So this IT department makes a core application that has the basic functionalities built into the system, or all the connectors required are built into the system. And then per department, the main IT department can extract solution of the core, or from the core, and then uh, create different 10 different apps, right, which are adapted from the core, but now they are for each department, where they can be doing their specific functions only, or multiple functions, but the core engine is provided by the core application. So these could be the two different use cases. And the the solution has a life cycle, right? So you first build the core application, or someone builds a core application, takes or takes the or extracts a implementation or a solution out of it, and then that's consumed by a customer, or by a department in enterprise, or however you built it, right? So building is basically turning industry knowledge, or whatever knowledge we have, into into a core, or into a reusable adaptive solution. And then implementation is where you take the solution, or adapt from it, right, and make any customizations to it, right? So and then the customer, again, that can be part of consumption as well, but you have basically three different steps. So in this today's first video, we'll be going through the build phase only, right? And then the next second video will be for implement, and our third video will be for consume. So, and this is not a one time thing, because if you have a major application, you first build an application, you implement it, and then the consumer, or the customer configures it to their use, and then their customers will have a feedback. So it's you publish something, release it to the customer, they do their configurations, they give you feedback, and then that feedbacks, or their customer gives them the feedback, and then your customer gives you the feedback, and you make some changes, and then it's an iterative cycle. So that solution life cycle for us. And implementation generally works where you have one core solution model, right? So, or solution is basically what you extract, the package that you extract from your core application. So that solution is, you can you can share that solution with all of your customers. If you have two customers, 500 customers, whatever it is, but they, each of them will get the same solution what you give them. It could be different versions but from the same app, right? So they take that solution, add their customizations to it, and then they publish it to their own cloud. So, or it could be Mendix private cloud, or anything, any cloud service that Mendix supports, right? Or Mendix provides. So that's what it is. Each adaptable solution, or the adaptable solution you provide them, they will have to import it in their Mendix application, and then what they do is they add customizations on it and they deploy it to their cloud. But say if some customer or some of your customer did not want to do any customizations to it, they want to deploy as is, right? Whatever you have in the code, they're fine with it and they want to deploy that, then they can do you. That's also an option, because you would have built everything that's there, or everything you have built is what they want, so they don't want any customizations on it. So what they end up doing is, or what you would end up doing is, you as a product owner, what you end up doing is, instead of giving them the adaptable solution package, what you could do is, you can just do a build up deployment package and give it to them, or deploy it for them on their cloud, right? However your relationship is with your customer. But in those cases where it has to go as is, you don't even need to build a deployment package, or sorry, you don't even need to extract a solution and give it to them. You just need to give them a deployment package and they should be fine. Once once a solution package is built, which means your core code is extracted for to be used at an implementation level, which means that's the solution package. So once your solution package is ready and you give it to your customer, or you give it to anyone else, but once someone else has a hand on it, the things that were marked hidden or IP protected, or whatever it is, whatever governance model you had, um, that cannot be undone. So the solution package can go, if it goes to someone else's hands and they try to extract it, they won't be able to. So that's something that's good for you. So you, if you want to share something, if you have 200 customers and you don't want to, or each of them using the same core product, and you don't want to be or you don't have a huge enough team or whatever it is, but if you don't want to do the upgrades for them, then you can just hand them over the solution package and they would still not be able to extract all your IP from it. So now, when when designing uh, when designing an application, right, or a core application for solution, for a commercial solution, the the main thing that will be that will have to be understood by the core architects who are designing and building the system is, or even developers, but is that there are three functional parts, right? So one, that is the they call it, can call it the immutable core, which means the IP protected stuff that you don't want anyone to touch. So that should make up most of your application, where the immutable core is has all the base core logic of your application. And then there is some part that can be an adaptable core. So in my case, say, I would keep only the pages as in the adaptable core part, right? So all the UI element, or the all the UI UX UI stuff goes into the adaptable core, and then the core logic there, where the APIs happen, where I do all the calculations, where all the basic functionalities are, I would put them in the immutable core. So what happens is those are IP protected, and the UI is adaptable, so people can take and do changes to it, right? And then the third part comes is customer specific extensions, where they could add their extensions and all those things. When talking about immutable code, there are certain things which is, we'll dive deeper into them in when we start building the application. But one of them is keeping them hidden, so your customer won't even know that that particular microflow or nanoflow or a domain model or anything that you build even exists, right? So if it's hidden. And then the other thing would be usable. So whatever is usable would, your customer would be able to use it in their application, but they will not be able to make any changes to it, or they won't even be able to see what's in it because it would show up to them as a protected implementation. So that's the power of commercial solutions or adaptable solutions, or the immutable core, right? um, Now, coming to the architecture, each each Mendix application will be architectured differently. So the scope of your the scope of the product you want to build is what will matter the most, when will decide the most on what should be a part of the core, and what should not be a part of core, right? Or what can be adaptable. so that's that's important. And then, um, if there are, say for example, if you have five different customers, but there is a certain small feature that only one customer requires and not all of them require, then what you would do is, or what you could do is, instead of building it in the core, you would leave it for later and build it only for that customer into their implementation model, so that you don't or let the customer build it on their implementation level, so that you are not responsible of that part of the code, right? And the customer takes care of it or manages it, upgrades it, whatever it is. So that's that. But say after 6 months or 1 year, right, you had five more customers in your pipe. And then now you're 10 customers instead of five customers, and all those five customers who came in wanted the same thing that the one customer had. Now what you could do is, you could you could bring that in as a part of your product now one, and then give it to all your customers, and then they can decide if they want to use it or not use it. But and then that would go out as a as an update or next version upgrade, right? So that's the that comes as a part of the, um, could be a part of the iterative approach as well, where your requirements become clear over time. But in this example, we already knew that first only one person wanted it, and now the five other customers want it, so you bring it back, um, or you bring it to the core and then distribute it to all 10 customers. Now, um, again, all of these will only come with experience. There would be no architect who would start building the perfect solution which doesn't need any changes from day one, right? So your first version is not your last version. So whatever you release, you will get feedback, and then and then you'll do more changes to it. And from your experience, you learn what should be opened up, what should be closed, what you need to, um, what is safe to give open up to the customers, so that they could have extra capabilities or extra customization options if they wanted, right? But the the main thing when architecturing architecturing a commercial solution is to make a decision on what should be a runtime configuration and what should be a design time adaptation. So what do you mean by runtime configuration, right? Configuration, so it's basically the smaller things that you need to do, which is oh, enable a feature, disable a feature, and all those things, right? Those are to turn on a switch, turn off a switch, maybe some smaller like color changes or something as such, right? Which are runtime configuration, so that you don't need to do a new deployment for it. But say if there the design time adaptations could be, oh, the customer wanted to wants to add a new or new entity in a domain model or their implementation level, yes, that's a design time adaptation, because they're designing something. The changes to your UI elements, where the button placement, if you want to change the button placements, or if you want to change something else, all those things are part of the design time adaptations, right? So the while architecturing your commercial solution, you also need to make sure that what part goes into what configuration. So as um, as Mendix says, you don't want to build a Mendix inside a Mendix, right? Which means you don't want to give all the options in runtime configuration, so that just because you don't want the customer to do deployments or so. What the way I look at it is, if there is something um, that changes frequently, or that would be critical to to the system for turning on and off, which could bring down the whole website and all those things, yes, those should live in the runtime configuration. But normal changes, or changes that go out with per sprint or per release cycle, or those things, those should be design time adaptations. So this was a brief, I wanted it to be a small technical overview, but turned out to be a 16-minute long overview. But but I wanted to make sure I cover everything. So so I took some extra time for it. But I hope you guys like this one. And now, everyone's waiting for the for building the application. So let's start um, building the application. Let's jump straight into it. So let's first talk about what we'll be building in this application, and then we'll jump straight into the application, or straight into the Mendix Studio Pro. But we want to build a two-page shopping application here, where you don't want to do a lot of things, but just two UI pages for the user, where the home page shows the list of all the products, and then there's a cart page where you can go ahead and update the quantity or reduce the quantity, right? Or add or reduce the quantity, which is updating the quantity, and then that's it. Where it will show the total and list of products that's in your cart. And we will have few admin level pages to add products and categories. So that's about it. But and the functionalities wise, what I want to build is, or what we should be building is, admin to be able to add and remove products and categories. And then um, the user should be able to view the list of all the products. User should be able to add items to the cart. User can view all the items that's in their cart and update the quantity. So that's about it. And for the adaptation requirements, what we should be doing is, we should be giving the implementation app the ability to update the UI UX, right? So completely overhaul the look and feel of the pages if they want. The ability to upgrade the add to cart functionality if they want it, right? So they want some pop-ups thrown in somewhere here, or any notification messages or anything as such, right? And then also the ability to submit the order if they want. So which will be, so the first option will be, which is updating the UI UX, will be part of customizations, and then the second and third would be um, part of them extending our functionalities. So that's about it. Let's do a small walkthrough of the application first, and then we'll jump into Mendix Studio Pro. Also, sorry, I missed this one, but the solution, or the whole architecture, would look something like this, right? So our core, where we build the Mendix application, that will be this. And then the one you see in orange will be the solution that we extract out of Mendix Studio Pro and distribute to the customer. So store one, store two, and so on will be our customers, whom we will whom will uh, distribute the solution that we extract from code. And then those stores can go ahead and build web applications on top of that, because our core only has web app. But if they want some challenge, they could also go ahead and use those same microflows to go ahead and call them through nanoflows, or however they want to do it, but use them in their mobile apps, or build mobile apps out of those if they want it, right? So that there's endless possibilities. So let's first walk through the application, where, so this is our shopping cart homepage. right? I'm already logged in, so we don't have to worry about it. But I'm showing a list of 6 bicycles, nothing big. So two of them are mountain bikes. First are mountain bikes, third and fourth are city bikes, and fifth and sixth are electric bikes. But if you do, say, add to cart, and you see the total reflects or change to 180. And if you do add to cart over here, it adds updated the total. Now let's go to the cart page and see if we see those changes or not. So you see both items are in the cart now. You can update the quantity and the total updates automatically. You update the quantity here and again the total updates. Go to home page, so the shopping home, and the total is here. So so that's about it. I've added some smaller things which doesn't matter a lot, but just want to show you. So say I've added 5 items and the total quantity is 5. If try to add a sixth one, it'll say, oh, this item could not be added because it's out of stock at the moment, right? Which means we have bought all the 5. So I removed all the items at empty cart. There's an empty cart message as well. If you go to shopping cart, total is 0, and that's about it. And if you go to the admin part of it, what we have is I've just added a thing where you can add create accounts, so account administration overview page, that's it. And then a category page where you can go ahead and add new categories, um, a product page where you can go ahead and add new products, and that's it. So that's about the application what I've done. Now let's jump into Studio Pro. Now at Studio Pro level, if you see, I've opened up 4 different models of I've created 4 different models, right, which are open here. um, what I So once I created the basic Mendix application, what I did is I entered, or sorry, not enter, I changed the security level to production level. That's one. So, and because I want users to log in, so that's the only reason I did that. And then I went to app settings and turned on the solution or enabled the solution adaptation to yes for this whole model to work, right? And then I started with solution versioning 1.0.0, and you see my all my versions are at 1.0.0. I can go ahead and update them manually if I want to. So if I go here, say if the default model that they give me, and go to settings, export, I can upgrade the version. If you'll do this only when that you did a change to only this particular module and you're releasing something, right? So it that's something you will you'll decide at your release level. So not at basic learning level. Basic learning level, it's fine to give any version you want. So what I've done is, if you see the admin and main application, you'll see a small s next to them, which means these are solution modules, right? So anything you put into this, the implementing app would not be able to do any modifications to it. Now, if I expand, sorry, and then we see the implementation modules as well. So anything you put into these implementation modules, the the implementing app will be able to make changes to it, add customizations to it, um, or do extensions to it, right? So now I've not put anything in the admin module because I'm not doing any logic over there. So let's close that for now. The way you turn on the way you create a solution module is simple. So you add from your add module as the regular way you do it, right? So give it a name and it will add by itself. And then what you should go ahead and do is once, and then go ahead and click on settings for the new module you have created. Go to export and turn this into a solution module. That's it. And hit OK, and it will become a solution module for you. So anything you put into that will be IP protected. Now, how do we do different? How do we create microflows, nanoflows? You do the same way, exact same thing as you do in the regular non-ISV Mendix application, right? Nothing changes over here. The only change would be if your if the microflow you created is hidden or usable, right? So if you see an I next to it, it means it's usable. So which means if a using, so for example, let's say over here, any UI elements or any pages, right, will be able to use one, two, three, four, these 4 microflows. but these pages will not be able to call these two calculate cart total and calculate discounted price, right? These two microflows. And the reason is because you don't see an I next to them because they are hidden. So when we export the solution out of this, and when we go into when we go into the next second video, I'll show you that you won't even see this at the implementation level. You will only see 1 2 3 4, and they will not show up like this. They will show up as protected implementation. And the UI elements, even though you are in core, UI will not allow you to use these two because they are hidden. So you'll definitely get an error for that. Now that's how we do it. The same goes for domain model as well. So I've created this domain model, and you see all these fields are usable, right? But I have some field, that is description field over here, that's not usable, and the description field in stock also. So these two fields, when we export this into a solution module, the user won't be able to see these as well. This is not a shopping cart application. We are not building a shopping cart application demo over here. This demo is about Mendix ISV. So I will not go ahead and do a step-by-step microflow construction and all those things, right? I will not, I'll just walk you through what I've built. But so this is the domain model, where categories and products are stored, and this is where the carts are stored. Everything is XPath constrained for user role. So that's about it. And then what else do we have? This is the cart overview page. um, that's the home page where I'm using a grid layout and just showing all the products. Add to cart functionality. So if you see here, add to cart functionality is using the microflow that is at an implementation level. Sorry, that is at a solution level, right? So we are able to use it, but not able to, oh sorry, we'll be able to use it in core and implementation level, but at core we'll be able to change those microflows or modify those microflows, but at implementation level we'll not be able to update those microflows. So that's basically all about it. What Yeah, so the home page loads, and then it loads the list of products that admin had added. You do add to cart, it will call this microflow, and ds underscore card brings the card for this particular user. And if the user is doing coming here for the first time, we'll create a card for them. And if you go to the card overview page, using a data grid over here, right, showing the images, names, add and reduce quantity does need some additional work to calculate the totals and all those things, updating quantity. So those are two different microflows, that is add quantity and reduce quantity. um, and then that's it, I guess. Yeah, we don't have much to, it's not a huge application, so I don't have much to show, but that's about it. So in the next video, we'll be discussing about how to extract solutions from this core application, and then using that solution to import into two different Mendix applications, and trying to do some smaller customization in the second video. And then the last video where we'll do bigger customizations and completely or overhaul the applications, right? So that's about it. I hope you guys like this one, and please like and subscribe if you like this video, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thanks everyone. Bye.